Oh, you're going to leave because I farted? Whatever, immature person. All right. So here's the story of the day. Activision Blizzard clears itself from any wrongdoing. Now, I don't know if you guys know what happened, but literally California, okay? Not some random person. California sued them, okay? This isn't like some random, like the actual state of California filed charges, okay? This isn't just some person saying, oh, he harassed me at work, okay? Which you should still listen to and investigate properly. But this is a literal claim from California. So obviously there's some steam to it. The actual state. Okay? I gotta zoom in because I'm an old boomer. I can't read. Nearly a year after an explosive lawsuit by California Department of Fair Employment and Housing kicked off a firestorm of sexual harassment and discrimination allegations at Activision Blizzard, a board of directors working group investigated the company but has released its findings, led by a 25-year-old veteran of the Call of Duty publisher. The group concluded that there was never any systemic issue with harassment, discrimination, or retaliation. So this is what's happening. Like there's I think one of the allegations, it was really messed up. A woman dated her manager. Or let's say the manager dated one of her subordinates, which is fine. You do you. I mean, I think it's a conflict of interest and you shouldn't allow it, like in a work setting, because it probably will save you a lot of headache, but whatever. Afterwards, he leaked her nudes and she killed herself. Okay? So, like, there's a problem here. There was claims that there was one of the people that was there for a long time. I forget the person's name, but he was constantly sexually harassing women there. And then when women would complain, they would just do nothing about it. Like I just don't believe. Jesus Christ! What are you just going to give me the ads for every single Activision game while you're writing an article about them? What happens to the manager? I don't even know. I don't think anything. They had a Bill Cosby room at like their events when they would go to. Yeah, this is the Cosby room. And they would take pictures. They thought it was so funny. Like this is like real shit. Like, dude. But they investigated themselves and they found that they didn't do anything wrong. All right, guys, I investigated myself. I didn't do anything wrong. Imagine that. Contrary to many of the allegations, the board and its external advisors have determined that there is no evidence to suggest that Activision Blizzard senior executives ever intentionally ignored or attempted to downplay the instances of gender harassment that occurred and were reported. The Workplace Responsibility Committee wrote to shareholders in a June 16th SEC filing. While there are some substantiated instances of gendered harassment, those unfortunate circumstances do not support the conclusion that Activision senior leadership or the board were aware of the tolerated gender harassment or that there was ever a systemic issue of harassment. Shut the fuck up. How do you clear yourself of all wrongdoing? I just don't get it. Imagine just smacking someone in the face. I didn't do it. That's all this is. You don't get to do that. These findings were aimed squarely at refuting allegations in the DFEH lawsuit and those raised in a November 2021 Wall Street Journal investigation. The latter reported that Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick, I don't care, failed to report a 2018 settlement with an alleged rape victim at the Call of Duty Vanguard marker Sledgehammer games to the company's board. The report also claimed that Kotick threatened to have his female assistant killed in a 2006 voicemail and inferred to prevent the co-head of Call of Duty Black Ops studio, Triarch Dan Bunting, from being fired for alleged sexual harassment. An Activision spokesman told the Wall Street Journal at the time that Kotick had always kept the board informed, apologized to the assistant for the hyperbolic language, and that the Bunting was properly disciplined when the incident occurred. However, the Wall Street Journal reported that he resigned from the company shortly after it asked about the allegations. Yeah, Bunting denies this. Mr. Bunting's departure had nothing to do with those allegations. Yeah, I'm sure. So basically, the guy left after allegations on good terms. Why? Why do you think that would happen? Why is it that you would do a bad thing and then the company would say you can leave on good terms? I wonder if it's to save face. Yeah, you sexually harassed these girls, but you were a really good employee, so we're not gonna fire you for sexual harassment because we don't want you having a hard time in life, even though you've made other women have a hard time in theirs. Of course, allegedly. So they called the insinuation false, harmful, but not disputing the timeline. Okay. The board summary says its investigation was based on email communications, contemporaneous notes, and other source documents, as well as the fresh interviews with current and former employees. But the board members didn't go into more detail about the extent of the investigation, how it was conducted, or what raw data was furnished to outside consultants like former EEOC chair Gilbert Casillas, who concluded that there was no widespread harassment pattern or practice of harassment or systemic harassment at Activision or any of its businesses units between September 2016 and December 2021. Wow, incredible. It's unclear how many total current and former employees were interviewed as part of the investigation, why it was limited to only the last 5 years, or how much Castillo was paid. Casella, whatever. And Activision Blizzard did not immediately respond to the request for comment. The summary is also hard to square with the landmark $18 million settlement with the EEOC for recent victims of harassment and discrimination at the company. So you guys did a settlement for $18 million for harassment at the company, and you're trying to say that there's no systemic issue there. How? How do you... That's a lot of money. What is it to... How... Okay, and there's multiple victims. Of incredible. What we have come to realize over the past several months is that there are many truths about our company, individuals and collective, experimental and data-driven, and sometimes they can be difficult to reconcile. I think another thing that they were doing, which might sound funny, but it's like really stupid, is they would walk up and like fart on the girls. Was just insane. Like, it's fucking bizarre. Like shit, like weird shit like that. I know it sounds weird, but it's just fucking insane shit. I'd smack the fuck out of you if you ever did that to me. My wife does it to me. That's why I beat her to death. But I'm just kidding. But like, if that was something happening in my job, like the first time I'd be like, it's funny, but don't ever do that again. If you did it again, I'd smack the fuck out of you. I don't care. Let's see. There are many truths about our company, individual and collective, experimental and data-driven, and sometimes they can be difficult to reconcile, the board writes. It does not elaborate on the details or nature of those opposing truths, but goes on to complain about being wrongfully maligned by an unrelenting barrage of media criticisms. Wow, who would have thought that a really large gaming company would face criticism for sexual harassment? I mean, you're obviously the victim here. The rest of the group's findings are dedicated to forward-looking statements about the new best practices being put in place, like new ethics and compliance and a zero-tolerance harassment policy. In some cases, these initiatives appear to have been a response to employee demands marshaled together by ABK Workers Alliance. And in others, they have fallen short of those asks. Current and former Activision Blizzard staff are still calling on the company to directly involve in the decision-making process for stamping out harassment and discrimination in the company. Some employees have already won that right legally through a successful union election for QA developers and its Raven software studio, currently in the midst of bargaining their first contract. Microsoft, set to buy Activision for $69 billion, epic sex number, by the way, recently announced that they would remain neutral on union matters as part of its pitch to regulators tasked with approving the acquisition. Added comment from Burning's lawyers and clarified the... Okay. Yeah, okay. There you go. They cleared them, but they cleared themselves of wrongdoing. Incredible. Incredible. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down to the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.